Today I'm excited because I'm going to be counting down my favorite 5 non-fiction books and my favorite 10 fiction books of 2020. So let's get started. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. It's Rachel here. As always, you know what to do. Today we're going to be talking about my favorite books of 2020. I will be counting down 5 of my favorite non-fiction books and 10 of my favorite fiction books. I love the fact that in 2020 I was able to read 50 books and I had a lovely reading experience with them. I didn't really have a lot of books that I did not like. There were a few disappointments here and there, but I'm happy that most of the books that I read, I actually did enjoy them. And if it was fiction, I was taken for a lovely ride. If it was non-fiction, be it an autobiography, be it Nigerian historical non-fiction, or be it a self-help book, I was able to learn valuable lessons and so much. So I'm going to be counting down my favorite books. We're going to start with the non-fiction books, and this was quite hard. I read more fiction books than I read non-fiction in 2020 because 2020 was like a crazy year, and I'm thankful that I was able to read these books to just escape, because I really needed the escape. So let's start with the non-fiction books. I'm going to be counting down 5 to 1, and with the fiction books I'm going to be counting down 10 to 1. So you want to watch till the end of this video. So let's start with non-fiction. Number 5. My favorite non-fiction at number 5 is Mastery of Love by Don Miguel Ruiz. He is the same author as the person who wrote The Four Agreements, which is one of my all-time favorite books. I read The Mastery of Love at the beginning of the year. This book is so amazing. It explores themes like healing, forgiving of oneself and forgiving others, basically how to love and just have unconditional self-love for yourself. It taught me so much about compassion and just how to heal from maybe traumatic experiences, or how to forgive people and the importance of forgiving yourself first. And even with self-abuse and abuse that you let from others, it contains so much. And I love the fact that I read it at the beginning of the year, because it prepared me for all the things that happened throughout the year, and in some way I was able to practice some of these things even when I remembered or when I did not really remember, because it had become a part of me. So I feel like it's one book that everybody needs to read, especially dealing with emotional trauma, dealing with emotional baggage, and just how to show love in romantic relationships, in to yourself, with family, with spouses, with friends. This is a lovely book that you may want to check out. Number 4 is You Are a Badass by Jen Sincero. Now the thing about this book is that when I finished reading it, I felt like an amazing, I felt like I was working on cloud 9 for like 2 months. I was inspired, I was motivated to go after my goals. I was knocking things down as I was going. I'm like, yes, because as much as it has gems that you may have encountered before in life, not necessarily that she's saying things new, I love the way she was able to arrange the book, in that she taught one to sort of learn to let go of the doubts that you plague yourself with, and just channel your inner badass and be like, yes, I can do this, I can go for it. So she explored things like comparison, fear, how to just get started, how to remove yourself from toxic communities or environments that are not putting you in the right frame of mind to progress, and so on and so forth. I learned a lot of things from this book and I really enjoyed it. Number 3 is I'm Telling the Truth But I'm Lying by Basi Ikpi. Oh my goodness, this book will forever have my heart, because as a mental health advocate, I was so happy that a Nigerian could actually put this out, and I'm so happy that I had the opportunity to ask her some questions that were at the back of my mind as I was reading it. That video is up and you can also watch the review as well. I thought that it was beautifully written. She explained how it feels for like someone dealing with bipolar 2 and anxiety raw. If someone could explain how certain things feel, because you really remember how you feel, but how to explain how it feels is usually the issue. And a lot of people actually deal with this, especially Nigerians today, dealing with mental health issues and the stigma that is attached to such things. And for her to have just penned it down beautifully in the most raw and honest and vulnerable way, even when she was talking about family, when she was talking about friends, relationships, and how these things, how these mental health issues actually affected her relationships, her career, her love life, different things. She was so real and so honest, and I appreciate that from her. So that would definitely be my number 3 for my top 5 favorite non-fiction books. You guys can check it out. Number 2 would be Nigeria Soldiers of Fortune by Max Yolun. If there's anything you should know about me, it's that I'm really passionate about history. I love history. When I was in secondary school, history was like my favorite subject. I love history. I love Nigerian history. I love world history, but mostly Nigerian history and African history. Max Yolun is an amazing Nigerian politics, like, historical writer. He is a great historian, and I love the way he wrote this particular book, which explored the Abacha to Obasanjo years, and he was really creative with the way he wrote this book, and every single thing in the book was facts, because we had the opportunity to ask him questions at our book club meet online, and everything in the book is facts, but the way it's written, almost like as if it's creative fiction. Like, the book is not written like as if it is a textbook, or like as if it's some boring whatever, oh, this happened in 1960 something, this happened in 1970 something. It's something that every single Nigerian should read, in my opinion. And now to my number 1 non-fiction book of the year. If you've been following my channel, you obviously know which one this one is probably going to be. It is none other than Atomic Habits by James Clear. What do I say about this book? Where do I start from? This book is such a gem. I will continue to talk about this book for years to come. It is that good a book. There is no reason why you should not have read that book. This man, like, this is Atomic Habits is an example of a self-help book that I would love to read, because it's not one of those cliche ones that have all these points and, oh, this is what you should do, this is what you should do. How should you do it? How? In the most practical, in the most, break it down for me. Let me know how I should go about this. And that's exactly what Atomic Habits does. In that book, James Clear basically shows you how to achieve your goals, build systems that last, not necessarily focus on the goals, but focus on the systems and the things that you put into place to achieve those goals. He believes that by achieving little atomic habits, that's little habits, every 1% that you accomplish adds up to that 99% or 100% that you're looking out for. So instead of you looking at some huge goal, like, oh my goodness, this is a huge goal and I can't reach it, look at the tiniest goal, break it down into the tiniest thing. It could be as tiny as putting out your sneakers when you're about to jog tomorrow, just putting it out in plain sight so that you can see it and then you're motivated for tomorrow. And he examines ways that you can break bad habits and build new ones. It's fully packed. There is no way that you read this book and not highlight the book. Like, every single sentence contains a gem. That is how amazing this book is. You guys can check out my review on it, and you can go and get yourself a copy. Now we come to the fiction books of 2020. I love fiction so much, honestly. Like, if you're not into fiction, you're really missing out. It provides so many things: entertainment, escape, even I was telling someone the other day, like, you can get to travel to places that you've never been, depending on how good the imagery is in a book. Like, you become one with the characters, you fall in love with characters, you cry, you get emotional. It's always an amazing experience. Okay, I'm talking too much. Let me start counting down. Number 10, Tomorrow Died Yesterday by Chimeka Garrix. Absolutely love this book. I could not believe that it was a debut novel by this man who did such, like, the book was simply amazing. It explored 4 friends who were living in Niger Delta region of Nigeria, and each of them grew up and took their own paths, and their paths eventually all collided at the end. Amazing legal dramatic thriller that was set with a lot of insightful and eye-opening themes in that book that still plague Niger Delta region till today. Number 9 would be My Lovely Wife by Samantha Downing. The end of this book really made up for the first part, which was really boring. Not really boring, but it was slow. It was slow for me. The build-up was just too much. But the latter part of the book really built up the book for me and made me enjoy it at the end. I will not forget how I felt when I finished reading this book. I was all over the place, like, I was gasping for air. Number 8 is The Mechanics of Vienna by Michael Afenfia. Prior to this, I'd never read anything by Michael Afenfia, so this was my first experience with him. I love this book. I love the fact that it was set in Yenagoa. It was a light-hearted, funny read that infused music, the life of a mechanic. Like when you think about mechanics, you don't really think about their lives in this way, and it was so interesting. I laughed like with almost every page, and the dramatic plot twist at the end had me screaming from my bed like, oh my goodness, what is this? I actually did a reading vlog of this book like last year. You guys can check it out on my channel. Then number 7, of Women and Frogs by B.C. Ajapon. Love this book. It made me cry at the end. I did a review on it, so I'm not even going to waste too much time on it, but I thought that it was beautiful writing and it explored a lot of important themes in the book. Number 6 is Children of Blood and Bone by Tomi Adeyemi, because this was my first exposure to Tomi Adeyemi's writing, and honestly I would give it to her. The writing style was amazing. The writing itself and the use of words, the use of imagery was second to none, and I must applaud her for that. Number 5 is The Girl with the Louding Voice. I totally love this book. I love the message that the book was trying to pass across. I struggled a little bit with the pigeon at the beginning. Number 4 would be The Fisherman by Chigozie Obioma, because the writing in that book was amazing. The plot was okay for me, funny enough. It wasn't that bad, and it explored like the lives of 4 brothers who would typically go to go and fish in a forbidden river, and then one day they have an encounter with a madman who prophesies something, and then their lives take a turn for the worst just because of that prophecy. Because I think the madman was notorious to in the sense that people knew that he would prophesy things and they would eventually come to pass. So yes, there was that, but the writing itself, wow, I was impressed. Number 3 is Homegoing by Yagiasi, and I thought that this book was an amazing one. The prints are really small, the book is a lot, and it takes a lot of patience to read this book, but man, she did a phenomenal job, even with the research, with the bringing to life of the characters, with the way she interwove the stories at different standpoints. I thought that it was beautiful, and to see how just from 2 women a whole generation of people can come out of that, who were in Ghana and then they end up in America. And oh my goodness, the ending of this book was beautiful. I remember finishing this book at 5 a.m. and I was so excited. I liked the resolution. I loved the way it came together, and I really must commend her for this, because I think this was her debut novel or something like that. It was amazing. Number 2 is Everything Good Will Come by Sefi Atta. This book was awesome. Like, I actually liked the writing style. I loved Enito's character. I loved the fact that Sefi Atta explored a lot of important themes in this book, and she brought her character to life. The ending, I was like, okay, you know what, yeah. But you can check out my review on it. And now for number 1 of my favorite fiction book of 2020. Drum roll, please. It is Stay With Me by Ayobami Adebayo. Oh my goodness, you guys, this book. Look, I was recently having a conversation with people on Clubhouse, and like almost everybody was mentioning Stay With Me by Ayobami Adebayo. This book is amazing. I will not even say what the book is about. Go and watch my review on the book, but let's just say this was my favorite book of the year. Like, at the end of the book, I was like, why? No, how? I had so many questions. I was like, why would she do this? I was almost crying. My friend literally had to be comforting me on the phone. Like, it was a really lovely experience. And so with that, I come to the end of my favorite books of 2020. Let me know in the comments which one you have read or which ones you hope to get to, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.